And then when you offer them a little more than $1 million, over time, they discount the time and they focus on the $1.2 million or the $1.18 million or whatever the number is. And and sales is psychological. And these guys, and when you say in a nicer way than I would say, is that it hasn't sold for 3 years because it's possible. Full value is just too much to rationalize in the numbers. But if I can show you a way, are you interested? They will not say no. And all sales not all sales process, but almost all sales process, you want them to start saying yes. And then subconsciously it works in your favor. And, I've sold a lot of, not shit, but I've sold a lot of stuff. And I've sold a lot of shit too, but I've sold a lot of stuff. And it starts with the first yes, the first nod. And not that nod, but not the Indian nod, but the first nod. Don't give me a bunch of shit from YouTube about this, please. The first nod. And full value is an important concept to them. Because and then when Arvie and Margaret go back and talk about it, I think the young man or, nobody else has offered us full value. You haven't even talked about a fucking number yet. And I'm just telling you, it works. And the kids, that follow it, have done better. So it's important. But I mean, if you fall off the rails or off the track in the beginning, I mean, it's rarely that you can get them back on track. So you just go next. But as the Dutchman said a couple of days ago, you set the seed, and it starts to germinate, and they say, "Oh yeah, and maybe he could buy it from us." And the people are now calling him back. And some of the better ones that have set up these funnels, and they don't call them Rolodexes anymore, but whatever your contact list is, they contact banks, potential sellers, every 45 to 60 days. One time, they're making a contact to remind them to keep your name in front of them so they don't forget. And and again, using business brokers, the more people you have in between you and the seller, the more difficult it is. It's not impossible to do deals with business brokers, but remember, a business broker is getting paid on the value that he sells it for as a percentage. So the higher the value, the more he makes. It's simple. And a lot of you, or not you, but a lot of the kids say, well, but I'm not paying it. The seller's paying it, in theory. But no, you are paying it. You are paying it. Not directly, but indirectly. And because what the seller has done, the seller has jacked the price up, at least the value of the commission that he's paying the business broker, if not more. And some business brokers will say, well, I can get, 2x for it or 3x. And remember, to a business broker, he's got his own funnel, his own portfolio of companies. So you're just one potential sale. Yeah, question?
So how much do they charge on average to brokers?
It depends, 3 to 6%. I've seen them as high as 10%. I mean, 10% is highway robbery, but no, industry and where you are in the world. Where you are in the world. But 3 to 5 for sure. And some business brokers have it a split fee. If I get you 10 million, it's this. If I get you 12 million, it's this. If I give you, they used to use the Lehman formula. The Lehman formula used to be 5% on the first 5 million, 4% on the next 2 million, 3 blah blah blah. And I don't know if the Lehman formula is still around.
Are there specific places where people list their businesses?
Absolutely. There are websites where people list businesses.
Is it usually based on the industry? Or?
No. I mean, across the board, I don't know if there's a website for every single industry, but there certainly, it's like listing a house, kind of. I mean, they're...
but they're coming from brokers. I mean, they're brokers.
Well, a majority of the listings are brokers. But once in a while, an individual. But as soon as an individual lists on one of those sites, 25 brokers are on them like stink on shit, promising them all kind of bullshit that they can do better, and you don't want. And the scare tactic they used, or they used to use, you don't want to be out there unrepresented, unprotected. That's the crap they give. Yeah, so go with the broker.
What's the counter for that, sir?
Pardon?
What's the counter if they say, oh, but why they should not transact with you and they want to stay with their brokers?
Well, no. Once they're with a broker, they're probably tied up for at least 6 months, a year, so they can't wiggle off that. Whether they deal directly with you or not, they're still going to have to pay the broker. So it's just easier for them to for you to go through the broker. But the idea is to get them before they list with the broker. But a lot of businesses, have been perpetually for sale. Like some people will throw assets up there, at some outrageous rate, like the Goa Indian, 10 million for a 1 million asset, and if some moron comes and buys it for 10 million, then they sell it. But 95% of the assets that go for sale a year are unsold. Again, because they're trying to get rich off one transaction. And, that's not how wealth's built. Wealth is built off a series of transactions. But the whole idea is, remember, this is one deal. Remember, as Boone Pickens told me a long time ago, if you want a deal bad enough, Danny, you'll do a bad deal. That's why you don't stay. I mean, you just go from deal to deal. That's why frogs, I kiss a lot of frogs, and I still kiss frogs, and I still look at deals. And of course now it doesn't, this is an exaggeration, 1 microsecond. Next. But that's more than a microsecond, but maybe 1 second. I can look at deals, and now when I get the financial information, I want the financial summary. That's it. Top line, revenue, expenses, after-tax profit, and I'm good enough to guesstimate what the cash flow is, but I mean that's it. I don't need any numbers. 10 million in revenue, 5 million in after-tax profit. I can already tell you it's a candidate. I don't have to look at anything else. If you're making 5 million after tax on 10 million, that means you're about a 65-75% margin. I mean, even with your intellect in this room, I can buy that company today. I don't even have to look at anything. Because I've done enough of them and now some business, retail is a little different, but I mean, if you're making 5 million out of 10 million top line, you are a candidate. You're probably cash flowing 6.5 to 7.5 million. I mean, that is a jewel. That is a jewel. Huh?
What would you pay for that?
Depends on the industry, but let's say it's let's make it simple. It's 7 million cash flow. Let's just say make it real simple. It's 7 million unencumbered cash flow. I pay 2 times cash flow, and I'd run to like a thief in the night, and I'd celebrate like all my birthdays came at once, and I'd have 12 or 14 pints of Guinness just to get warm up, to warm up. And but we go through the numbers tomorrow and the next day. But it's just really simple. There's but I just gave you a simple example, and it's even more simple than that. And I bet you some of you grind those fucking numbers, and I bet you, I know you do. I'm not going to ask you to lie to me and say that how many don't grind numbers and how many just accept the top line, bottom line, and can make a decision whether it's a good deal or not. Now, I'm not saying that you want that business, but I mean just based on numbers, because it may be, and I want to see 3 years numbers. I'm buying them on 1 year's numbers, but I want to see 3 years numbers. Last 3.
But those numbers will get that candidate in the door.
Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. I mean, financial wizard. I used to make fun of those, those Anderson guys, but I remember when they named that fucking school. But anyway, that's the whole. Anyway. Yeah, but that's no. That you mean off their QuickBooks?
No, I'm saying because whatever numbers they're going to give you are just going to be.
No. I want numbers from somebody, a white, black, or yellow man outside the company, not their numbers. Okay, well, that's why we talk about audited numbers.
No, I know that, but when this is getting very confusing.
Well, it shouldn't be, but go ahead.
Well, about who? Because you're saying you're talking to them.
No. I want to see their tax returns, but I can determine whether it's a buy or not by seeing legitimate numbers, 3 figures, top line, bottom line. Legitimate numbers meaning audited numbers from a bona fide CPA, chartered accountant, not QuickBooks. You can put anything you want in QuickBooks. I'm sure that if I looked at your QuickBooks numbers, I could tear them apart and know that you lied. I don't know a white, yellow, or black man that doesn't lie on QuickBooks or the equivalent thereof. I want to see their tax returns. I'm a tax return guy. I mean, I can tell. I look at 3 years, but I'm only buying off 1 year, the last year. Now, if the last year is 7 years ago, forget about it. But if the last year is within 24 months, I look at I see if they're kind of consistent, if it's going up this way or that way, and then I look at top line revenue, 11 million, after tax profit, 3.3 million. That's a candidate. I don't even have to look at anything else. That's a candidate. Because when you add back appreciation, amortization, and you come up with your cash flow, and then at the first time we meet, well, what other encumbrances or covenants do you have on the cash flow? And they'll say none. I mean, it's clean. And then that's music to my ears. Or they'll say, well, we have to keep $500,000 in the bank. We have this, that. So it's not unencumbered. And then they'll say, but it's not written that I have to keep it. And I say, what happens if you try to take it out? Oh, they close the account and they sweep the account for cash. Well, then it might as well be in writing. Because you really don't have access to the cash, do you? Well, we didn't know that that's what you meant. We didn't know. We weren't trying to lie or anything. But we are Irish. And it's the way we do business here. Or we are Indian. Or we are South African. I mean, I can say it about them all. Yeah. Oh, no. Because I asked him, do they still do that? And he says, yes. I thought when I first got there, it was just a way of saying hello. And when you first got there, 7 years later, they're still doing it. I had a driver named Gopinath. Now, I thought that was a joke. And he says, Gopinath's here to pick us up. I go, who? What? Gopinath is the kid's name. Do they call people that in Goa?
No, Goa is like 25-30% Catholic population.
Catholic?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gopinath is not a Catholic name, for sure. Yeah, but we had Gopinath, God darn, I mean, Jesus. Anyway, we had some interesting times. I told you about the story when I beat the CFO up and drug him and threw him down the... I better not talk about that since I'm being exposed on YouTube these days. But that's the first incident at University of Florida. I never did that before in my life. I just lost my temper. Yeah. Snap a... Okay. Who's my 5? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, okay. Any questions? Yes.
What do you do somewhere where there's no gap?
Oh,
And
2 rules about the gym. Well, there's only one woman. No sex in the gym. So that's really up to you.
Guys, I'm out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And everything's got to be put back in the same place that you found it. And the dumbbells, the automatic dumbbells, one of you boosted the last time, and they haven't been around it. So there's dumbbells that, you know how you twist the thing to make them heavier. Like, so I'm telling you, they're broken. And so if you lift them up over, well, most at 65 pounds, most of you probably can't lift them up over your head. But I mean, the shit will fall in and down on your head. So leave the dumbbells alone. Now the dumbbells in the second gym, we have 2 gyms. The second gym are individual dumbbells. So I mean, you can work with those. But the dumbbells on the inner gym are busted. Are broken.
But one gym just did.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. Yeah. Okay. The other gym's in the castle. You're not going to enter the gym from the castle. You're going to enter the gym from outside the castle, and the door's outside. So you got to, when you know this walkway right here, you just walk up this walkway to the castle, and the first gym is on your right, and the second gym is attached to the castle. And you got to find out the code number. I don't know the code number to get in. It's an alarm code number. And then if you hit the wrong number, you're jolted with 7,000 volts. So I find out the number before you push the buttons.
What's the best gym to use, sir?
Well, I mean, are you one of the 6 packers? Like Tipperary here? Free weights. Well, we have 350 pounds in the big gym, which may not be enough for you guys. I understand that. I apologize, And then we have machines in both gyms. We have, the pulleys and shit like that. And we have a Smith machine. But, if you're going to... no, actually, I think we have 550. Maybe that's up to your qualifications. For you guys that want to do some big... We've had guys here that wasn't enough weight. One is currently in jail in Iran. And I think he was a heavyweight too, a super heavy. But he looked a little different than you, Tipperary. He was shaped a little different. Okay. Yeah, but leave the gym like you started it. Like you started it. Okay?
No gap.
No gap.
You don't trust their numbers. You bring someone in.
No, they're going to give you numbers. They're going to, when you see their tax return, well, they probably don't keep numbers in Haiti. Huh? Yeah, down there it's just, what you can bullshit your way through. No, seriously. You're talking about general accepted account. No, forget about that. I mean, your accountants, your crack accountants will know what general accepted accounting procedures are. No. When they put their numbers in QuickBook, those are just a compilation that they put together. Don't mean shit. Don't have to be real. You can put top line, you can add $5 million of top line. There's no verification process. During an audit, they check invoices, Even in South Africa, they check invoices, right? Yeah, but when you give them a few bucks, do they... Yeah, we manage them account, but then when you give them, 500 rand, I mean, that's something else. Yeah. The question is, the numbers that your accountants will produce for you will be GAAP, dictated by GAAP, General Accepted Accounting Procedures, and they have GAAP all over the world. Even in India, they have GAAP. So it's a little different, but I mean, it's generally the same. But you're not looking at GAAP numbers. You will produce GAAP numbers when you buy it, and you want to finance it. Some banks will want a stand-up audit. Some banks will just want a review. Some banks will just want a compilation. So you don't have to understand all this right now. But you will produce what the banks want. That's the important thing. What the banks want. Okay, YouTube, thank you.